Sawadee krab. Welcome to another episode of Fearless Home Cooking. Today we are doing a seared tuna with a tropical salsa. Again, healthy, fresh, and extremely colorful today. So, which are our ingredients today? We will have the famous tuna, which you can buy anywhere in a good fish shop. We will have some mango, some pineapple, tomato, the famous chili, lime, and some shallots, and a little bit green to dress it up, and pepper, and a spice blend which has a little bit chili inside.
You can get creative with your spice blends. You know, we sell a lot of different ones. Today we're going to use one that's got a little bit of chili on it, so it'll have a nice heat to go with the cool salsa.
No problem. It looks a little bit even Mexican, I would say.
There's definitely some Mexican influence here. We've got some Mexican, and Mexican meets Mediterranean meets Asian.
Okay, so let's get it started. So we start with the tuna, and we of course spice the tuna.
Yeah, so the tuna we've just cut into two pieces depending on how big it is, but we look for about 120 grams per piece. And our first step is going to be putting our salt mixture onto it, and we just want to make sure it's really covered. So when we sear this tuna, we're not going to cook it all the way through. We're going to cook it just on the outsides and leave the inside kind of raw and with a nice crust on the outside. So that's why we're going to put a lot of spice on the outside to help get that nice crust around it. So we've got our salts and spices there. We're going to put a little bit of black pepper as well.
Yeah, because what you see before is a dried chili flake rather than a pepper.
Dried chili and salt, yeah. And then we just put a bit of the pepper on there too.
Yeah. And again, you can later on, when you have some excess spices, just wheel them around.
You know, I've done this even with paprika and coffee, a few different spices like cumin. So I'm going to roll around these and get all the extra spice on there.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to check and make sure our stove is on, so our pan is preheated.
Because this time we are not using a flat pan. We're using a griddle pan to get nice charcoal.
Thank you.
On the tuna.
So while the pan's heating, we're going to put together our salsa. And we've chopped a few of our ingredients ahead of time so we could just mix them up. So we're going to go into the bowl with the tomato, a few shallots depending on how much you like. We've cut up some pineapple as well, and a bit of mango. So there's
again,
our
even
fruits.
This alone looks great.
We're pretty much there, but all we have to do now, there we go, every last bit.
Of course.
We've got a bit of chili, just chopped fine.
Here you get the color again.
And we've got chopped cilantro or coriander, depending on where you're from.
Yeah. Again, one of these universal herbs which fits in nearly every cooking.
And if you're one of these people that doesn't like cilantro or coriander, you can also use basil, you can use parsley, you can use really anything you like, just as long as you get some herbs in there. You want to put a few limes. I usually do about 1 lime per every 2 tomatoes.
Okay.
That's kind of the ratio I do.
So you want the acidity inside the salsa.
So put a few of these in.
Easy.
We're going to give it a few more cracks of the same salt and pepper that we put onto our tuna.
It smells already. It's so aromatic.
You don't have to do much.
There's the lime. You can smell the lime in the air. You can smell the chili in the air. It's just beautiful. This is the only thing on cooking when you are talking to a camera. You have not yet gotten the smell at home.
Now, I also like to shoot a little bit of vinegar, Tabasco into mine too. It gives it a nice little smokiness as well.
And a little bit of kick at the end.
A little extra kick. Once that's together, you're just going to mix it up. And from this point, it's basically done. Now, to get the most flavor out of it, you let it rest about half an hour. So it's good to get it done in the beginning, move on to the other things, and when you come back and you're ready to eat, this is right at its peak of flavor.
So here we have the tuna, and we have a nice griddle pan on the stove. So again, just to show you, for the people who have not seen, griddle pan has some real nice ridges on the
It's going to
pan.
help us get a nice mark on it. You still need to put a little bit of oil in the pan.
And because the oil is actually moving around very easily from left to right, you always have to make sure you're coating the under part.
So looks like it's nice and hot. It's kind of shimmering. You can smell the oil.
And again, you test it, put your hand over it, like around 5 centimeters over the pan. And when your hand is getting really nice and warm, you know you're ready to do.
All right. So we're just going to give it a little placement there.
And you can hear already it starts to
That's the thing,
sizzle.
the sound of cooking, you know, it's all the senses when you're cooking. You listen for it, you smell it, you look at how it looks.
You can see here.
You can see it's starting to come from the bottom, that we've started to get a nice crust on it. So we're just going to turn them over. And we see that beautiful marking on there now. Return it back to the pan. And then we just roll it.
I think this is ready to roll. And then one more switch to the other side and you're done. We're good to go.
Yep.
That's it.
All right, we'll walk it over here. Our tuna on the cutting board. Look at those nice, beautiful grill marks on there. Now, with this one, when you're cutting the tuna and any kind of flaky fish like this, sometimes it can have a tendency to break apart. And there's a way that you cut it to make a clean cut. And the key is, when you're using your knife, you want to use long strokes pulling back towards you. You don't want to saw into it like this.
And the key is a sharp knife.
And a sharp knife, yeah. Actually, a dull knife is a dangerous knife. Sharp knives are the way to go. We're just going to start at the front and make smooth strokes. Let the knife do the work. And then we get a nice clean cut with a picture-perfect center.
You know, this one, imagine you get that in a restaurant. Perfect, a little bit of soya sauce to it.
Well,
you know, you don't need to go to a sushi bar. You can do it at home. So easy.
okay, so now we've got our nice seared tuna. We're gonna just put that on the plate, like so. Gonna go over the top and down the side. And don't be shy with it.
No. And again, you can add some carbs if you wanted to have some bread with it. No problem at all.
Nice piece of avocado toast, something
Yes.
like that.
Beautiful. But again, very, 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 very healthy. You can have that as a starter, or you put more in it and have a main or a dinner dish.
There we go.
And you need a little bit of
And then we've got maybe some balsamic syrup or wine reduction that we've done on some of our other recipes, things that we save for later, and just give it a little dressing like that. And if you like, if you have some greens or some herbs left over from some other cooking, just put on top. And we're done.
And this one is another nice little recipe, very easy to do, 10 minutes in chopping, grilling, serving. I hope you join us the next time in fearless home cooking with another very simple recipe for you to enjoy. Thank you very much and see you again. ขอบคุณครับ